hadn't been painting long at that point, and up until then I'd been trying to improve my kind of technical ability as a painter. I'd been trying to prove to myself that I was worthy of being an artist. So I'd got to the point where I was kind of happy that I could paint and that I was doing okay at it, but I needed something with more depth. I wanted to have more kind of meaning behind my work and do something, you know, substantial, something relevant, something good. I've read somewhere to paint what you know, and you know, that's a way of that way you'll come across something more genuine. And I thought, what do I know? I don't know anything, you know. And so I started to kind of rack my brain and think back and think about different memories in my life, and I started to think, oh, you know, you kind of just block out a lot of stuff and get on with life. And I thought, oh, my life's been quite weird. It's been kind of strange all the way through, and so I started to write down my memories with the thought of turning them into paintings. And the kind of issue of style came up, because I'd always thought with style, the style of painting that I do, that I didn't want to force it. You know, I think people, when they start out in art, you know, you learn about all the great artists in history, and they've all got a very distinct style. You know, that's everyone, as soon as they see it, they know that that's who did the painting. And but I felt that if you force style and try and come up with, you know, I want to look like this, I want my paintings to look like this, it'll kind of look forced or contrived, and it becomes a bit gimmicky if you try and, you know, try and come out with a standout style. But not that there's anything wrong with that. You know, people who develop a strong style straight away and stick to it, you know, that sells work, and that's what you think that galleries and collectors and people want, is, you know, someone with a solid style that repeats that style. But I felt that I wanted my style to develop organically, so I'd approach each painting fresh and not know how it was going to look when I finished it. So then I realised that by doing that, my kind of style developed organically, and it developed more honestly by not trying to force it and just keep approaching things fresh. And then I realised that my style kind of came about on its own. But with my paintings up until that point, I'd been very focused on trying to make a kind of realistic painting, a painting that, you know, is technically good. But what I'd admired in other artists more was paintings that had a lot of feeling, you know, and paintings that were more naive in their essence, you know, kind of just more raw. So I wanted to approach these paintings in a way that kind of expresses just what was in my mind at that point, and, you know, create a scene. But I wasn't trying to make them technically brilliant like photographs. I wanted it to have a more naive style, so that's kind of what I went with. And the first painting I did was this one, and it was about the last time that I saw my dad, and it's called Broken Man. And you can hear the story behind this painting in the film. The thing I enjoyed about it when I painted it was, you know, setting the scene in my mind, because it's the last time I saw my dad, and I wanted it to kind of express that feeling of seeing this kind of broken man at the end of his life. And you know, the kind of fun part of it is, well, I say fun when it's such a like horrible image, but the part I enjoy about doing these paintings is kind of remembering what certain scenes or interiors of rooms look like, and conjuring that up in my memory, and then turning the kind of scene round in my mind until I can come up with a composition, and then putting whoever's in the painting, and you know, that I don't have many photographs of my dad, but so this was done just from memory, and it's interesting adding in little objects as well, like the ashtrays and the prescriptions and the things you'd see in a kind of not very nice bed set. Well, this wasn't a bed set, this was a flat actually, but the kind of and adding in little bits of symbolism and stuff. So that was the painting that started it off. And when I did that painting, I started getting messages from people, because what I do is I do the painting, then write a blog post telling the story behind it, and just kind of publish a blog post and then put it up on my socials and stuff. And as soon as I did that with that painting, I got quite a few messages from people, other artists and people in general, that resonated with, you know, because they'd had a kind of father that was an alcoholic, or they'd worked with people like that, and it kind of hit a nerve with people, and people were really kind of forthcoming with telling me about their story, or saying how it kind of really made them feel a certain way looking at that picture. And that's kind of when I knew that I was on something with this series, that I knew I wanted to progress with this series, because up until then I'd been kind of painting things which were kind of trying to just create pretty pictures, really, create nice paintings. But once I did this, I felt that it was something kind of raw and honest, and there were so many memories that I could work with, and that's how the series came about.